Welcome back to the Right Read podcast. I'm Isaiah. You can find me on Twitter at user G Supremacy.
Drewy the 14th. You can find me on Twitter at Willems, WILLLUMZ.
I'm Usad. You can find me on Twitter at UsadNBA.
I'm Will. You can find me at Depressed Rocket Stand on Twitter.
What's the real ad?
Yeah, the real,
That's the real one.
Depressed Rockets. You changed it.
It's Depressed now. That's what it is. Depressed Rockets, man.
Well, prayers to Will.
Yeah.
Prayers to Will. We are we are all Depressed Rockets fans right now. But let's get to some other NBA news. I think that it's always nice.
The league marches on.
Yes, the league indeed does march on with or without us. Clearly without us right now. MVP race is starting to heat up a tad bit. It's something that we thought was a foregone conclusion for most of the season, with how dominant the Oklahoma City Thunder were, how many games out ahead they were in the West, and just how good Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's been. It's kind of heating up a bit recently. I don't think he's going to win it, but Jaylen Brown just had a really good game yesterday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's starting to get his Boston media buzz again. The San Antonio Spurs are only 2 games back as of today recording.
It's crazy.
Of the Oklahoma City Thunder. There's some conversation of if they hawk down OKC in the standings, does Wemby have a legitimate argument? You got your Lucas, you got everybody else. You got a lot of options right now. Who do y'all want to speak about first in terms of this, I guess, newly heating up MVP race?
I guess we can start off with the Wemby, because I think that's probably the most interesting case out of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, Wemby and the Spurs have lost 1 game since February 1st. They are 23-1 in their last 24 games, which I think is just an absurd stat. They were I think the second or third team since the shot clock era to go an entire month without losing a game of basketball. When he is on the court, they are a plus 22, which is, I think, the highest plus minus right now in NBA history. He has beaten out LeBron for highest ever EPM by a 22-year-old in NBA history. When he's on,
missing the big one in terms of EPM. What he did yesterday.
Yeah,
he passed Nikola Jokic in EPM. Something
didn't know that was possible. Yeah, he's passed Jokic in EPM, which is nuts, right? Just defensively, the way he warps the basketball court, I think, has never been seen before in NBA history. I don't know if there's a comp for him for what he does on defense. There's a highlight play, and this is just a highlight play where he blocked I forget who it was on the Wizards, where he blocked him using when the guy was going up and under the rim. And it's the rim is supposed to protect you. Yeah. And he just as his arms have, his wingspan is so insane that you can just reach a hand out when he's in. I remember we said this when we were watching him during the whole pre-draft process. We were like, yeah, his positioning's not that great. And it doesn't matter. He'll get blown by and he'll still block the shot. Won't be in good position for the rebound. He'll still get it. It doesn't matter. He's just a absolute freak of nature. And I just think the impact he's having on the game, I'm tired of the MVPs being like the Oscars, where it's oh, we're going to reward this guy years later because he's been MVP caliber for so long, right? If someone's MVP caliber in a certain year, just reward them. And I think right now you have a real case that Wemby has been the most valuable player in the league, especially if they manage to hawk down OKC. I think OKC being the 1 seed, everyone kind of expected. They have that roster, they have that coaching staff, they have all of that stuff coming into the season where they have the pedigree of this has been a 1 seed for the past 2 years already, right? No one thought the Spurs would be in this position, the 2 seed, much less 2 games away from hawking down OKC in the 1 seed. I think if they do that with effectively a first-year head coach, a roster full of young guys, I mean, Dylan Harper is a rookie, Stephon Castle's only in year 2, De'Aaron Fox, for as great as he is, maybe top 30-ish player. No one thinks he's do you think De'Aaron Fox is better than Jalen Williams or Chet Holmgren?
No.
Jalen Williams this season.
Jalen Williams this season, I agree. But do you think he's better than Chet? No, right? So it's a guy whose roster I think is objectively worse than what the OKC Thunder have and is still managing to be this high in the standings. I think I would not be mad if over the next 9 games they manage to get within a game of OKC and Wemby continues what he's been doing. I think he should be MVP. I don't think that's a crazy take.
I think that the Wemby case becomes a bit more palatable if they do somehow overtake OKC. But Number one I'm going to bring up is they are 10-5 without him this season, and I don't think that's a fluke. I think this is just a really well-coached, deep roster that has found ways to win basketball games that is very repeatable outside of just relying upon one particular person. And that's, that is with all due respect to what Wemby is doing as the not even close best defensive player in the league right now, but arguably the best defensive player of all time already, right? But I think what makes SGA, because I guess I'll spoil it, he is my MVP pick. And I think why I go ahead and give him the MVP. Number one, and this is going to sound lame, and I kind of agree it is lame, but I'm just going off how it is. It is a narrative award, right? The MVP has always been narrative driven throughout the entire time, right? Like Russell Westbrook did not, Rockets fan here, didn't have a better season than James Harden did in 2017. He got that award because it was Russ carried a bunch of bums to the playoffs. That's what got him the award. When Joel Embiid won it in was it 2023? That was very much a, all right, bro, you've been asking for it. Just here's your MVP. That's what that was. I think that SGA, the narrative behind him this year, number one, he had that statement game over the Denver Nuggets. I think that game, national televised game, every guy who's going to vote for MVP, watch that game and watch SGA walk down Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. I think that matters a ton in when they're going to factor in the MVP votes. I also think the fact that, and we just talking about off stream, the Thunder are kind of trash outside of SGA. Like, he is the Oklahoma City Thunder. They need him to play the way he plays, and he plays at that level every single night. And so, yeah, for me, he gets MVP. I think, like I said, to kind of parlay it back to the Spurs thing, I think the discussion becomes a bit more interesting if the Spurs somehow do gap the Thunder, because it's like no one saw that coming, and then maybe you could argue it. But, I mean, once again, best player on the best team, it's SGA. He has the narrative behind him. I think the MVP should go to him.
Yeah, I mean, I think my two counter arguments against Wemby winning MVP is I think just one, and this is probably I think this is the weaker argument of the two arguments, but in terms of like statistical output for an MVP, when you look at the history of MVP, especially in modern NBA history, where it's kind of become like in order for you to win an MVP, you have to do something historic because the last MVP before you did something historic, right? Like the Jokic's second MVP averaged a 25-point triple double on 70 true shooting. Like that's something that's never been done. Highest, I want to say highest true shooting ever for somebody averaged 25 games. And then you followed it up with the Embiid MVP's 34 a game on 65 true shooting, and you followed up with the SGA MVP, 33 a game on 64 true shooting. He's breaking all these records for 20-point games and like efficiency for a guard, like raw efficiency for guards. And then we're here now where Jokic is pretty much averaging another 30-point triple double on almost 70 true shooting, and then SGA is averaging 33 a game on like plus 9 relative.
Absurd.
No, it's I mean, heard my own argument here, but it is the most efficient 30-point per game scorer in NBA history.
Yeah. I don't know how much that is because that is like
Jeez,
all true shooting.
32 points per game on 67 true shooting.
Yeah,
He has the highest. Oh no, I lied.
it's the highest true shooting for a 30-point per game scorer ever.
Relatively speaking, it's it's plus 9, so it's also one of the highest relative true shooting.
Jesus Christ, dude.
And so I think while Wemby's stat line is very good, and his stat line on a per minute basis would also be in historical context. It doesn't hold up to those seasons just from a raw output, and not going to the minutes portion, because I think that's the biggest argument here. Is when you look at the history of MVP, the only MVP that has been won where an MVP is played close to the amount of minutes Wemby's played is Giannis in 2020, and he was only playing 30 minutes a game because they were beating the brakes off of teams. Like it wasn't a matter of like, and even if you look at the season, he averaged 30 minutes a game. He's almost averaging 30 a game, so he's almost averaging a point a minute. I think he should finish top 3 very firmly. I think he's very clearly an All-NBA first team player. I think the next step to him just being demonstrably the best player in the league and winning MVP. Because I mean, when he starts winning MVPs, he's gonna win probably multiple. Is to raise his minutes per game a couple minutes and to raise his raw counting set. Which I mean, I think both of those things go hand in hand. He plays more minutes, he's gonna have better.
He's also just gonna be better at the sport because he's still what 23 years old.
22.
20. Yeah, he's gonna be better.
MVP currently over two guys who are playing historical basketball. Like I think.
Is your other candidate Luka in this conundrum, or are you
Oh
talking about
no, I
Jokic?
still have Jokic.
Okay, so that's interesting because
Oh,
Or no, I have Jokic.
yeah, Jokic at 2.
No, yeah, I still have Jokic.
I think it's clearly
Yeah.
between Wemby and SGA, and that's why I was gonna go with the whole narrative thing you're talking about. Like, you want to talk about like head to head. Wemby's team has
That's
4-1
one.
Shea's team. Like they beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 4 times this year. Like I think that is very significant, especially like when it comes to like when we talk about like MVP narratives and things like that. Like that is pretty big.
My fault, cut you off. No.
I was gonna say, and then also I think for raw output, I think that is a good argument. But I think part of that is I think so much of what Wemby is doing on both ends, offense and defense, is hard to quantify on his own like stat sheet. Like, did you know the Spurs right now are shooting more open corner threes than any other team in NBA
That
history?
makes sense. I mean, I don't know NBA history, but
Yes.
that does check for this season. Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting more open corner threes than any team in NBA history, and it's because teams are so terrified of the 7'5" guy rolling to the rim.
That also doesn't factor. Like he averages an absurd amount of blocks per game. I don't know how many.
But
and that's because that's when people challenge him. A lot of times he doesn't even get challenged anymore.
Yeah, like his rim deterrence goes way beyond like just raw blocks numbers, and so that was basically my point. Is I think it's hard to quantify Wemby just on a PRA output sheet.
I agree with that. My only thing is I think when you look at like comparatively speaking, when you look at like on offs and like EPM and all these stats, all of these guys are all in a similar vein. Like even with how not good the Nuggets are, if you look at Jokic's on off, it's still a 13 swing. Like they're plus 10 with him on. They're plus 10.5 with him on, -3 with him off. And that's his on off swing is literally 0.1 more than Wemby. So they're literally like right there. It's negligible. I think at that point, when we're talking about guys' advanced numbers looking eerily similar, if one guy is just statistically like an anomaly in comparison to the other one, like I gotta go with the guy he's averaging a 30-point triple double, and he's doing it on like insane splits, like to boot as well. It's not like he's just farming PRA. Like I feel like that for an MVP ballot, I feel like that has to mean.
So all right, well, I want to respond to that, but I want to respond to something you said about the Thunder and the Spurs beating the Thunder 4 times. I think if that, and this once again, I do not like the way this is how MVP is decided. I'm just going based upon the precedents that I've seen over the last couple of years with how it works. Like I said, it's a narrative recency bias driven award. So my point was going to be, I think that actually would have mattered a ton in the discussion if it didn't happen like November, December. I bet you if
that's so nasty.
I agree. I think it's bad, but I'm just knowing how the NBA works. Is that not how it's very much decided on what have you done for me recently? I genuinely believe that game, that national televised game where SGA went out there and walked down the Nuggets in front of everybody, I think that was the day that it was like he just won it. I think Wemby is going to make a really valiant effort last second. I also think Luka is going to make an effort, but I don't think that it's going to be enough to offset what happened. To your point, the reason why Jokic is disqualified for me, and once again, not because of my criteria, based upon how I know this award works, it's the record. It's the problem. That's the problem. That's what made the Russell Westbrook one so nasty, because he didn't have the record based on that precedence to win the award.
Had a better season statistically, and also
yes, I completely agree. But it was narratives. That's what made it so nasty.
neither here nor there, man.
The reason why I think Jokic is actually going to fall out of the top 3 for MVP this year,
Whoa,
that would be ridiculous.
I think Luka catches him. I think the top 3 finish is going to be SGA, Wemby, and Luka, and I think the reason for that is because the Lakers will have a better record, and they're also doing it more recently, right? The Lakers have been one of the better teams in the NBA in the month of March, and a lot of it's because Luka Doncic is going out there and playing the best basketball of his career, arguably, and I think that's going to matter a lot to the.
You want to make the Luka argument?
It's really there's no real argument for Luka, right? Like they're 10 games back from the Thunder for the 1 seed, 8 games back from the Spurs right now. Lakers are a very mediocre team analytically from most vantage points, at least. I think the case for Luka would be is that you look at the rest of that team and you say that I take everybody else off the court for the Lakers, and this is a middle of the pack at best team, and I throw Luka Doncic on this team, and it's a team that's winning more clutch games. It's a team that is now the 3 seed in the Western Conference. It's a team that I want to say is a -9 with him off the court right now. I want to say without LeBron, he's up to a +12. It's just some insane numbers that he's doing for that team. I think in any other year, I think he'd have a really, really good case for it. I think SGA's just been a bit too dominant on a game by game basis. The fact that he's, to Will's point, it is a narrative driven award, and every single time we have a question mark, it's always SGA versus.
Yep.
And I think that kind of tells you the answers to the story right there. It was never
And
somebody else
that's our receiver argument.
versus, like, he is, the Justin Jefferson wide receiver one. It's like every single summer, it's, well, is he better than Justin Jefferson? All right, well, probably not, because Justin Jefferson's always the one here, and it's a new guy every single summer. Same way with SGA's an MVP this year. All-Star break, it was SGA versus Jokic. Last week, it's SGA versus Luka. This week, it's SGA versus Wemby. And it's interesting to me. You see a lot of the Vegas betting odds, and
Oh yeah, what is?
people. Last time I checked, SGA is a minus 900. Luka's a plus 1,000. Wemby was a plus 1,200 last time I checked. It might have changed since last time I checked it. But all it's doing, and I don't think people understand, like, Wemby and Luka are just going to eat at each other, essentially, because they're trading back and forth of, well, I'm his worthy opponent. And guess what? You're just trying to be a worthy opponent at this point. You're not actually going for the award. So I will say, I think that both are playing at an MVP level. I think that they are both legitimate MVP caliber players. I just think that one guy has historical precedence going for him. He's made all the big shots in the big moments. And he's just had a hell of a year. I just think you just got to tip your cap to
How
SGA.
many seasons? And I have 2 questions here because I think it'll be more interesting to rank 1 through 4 on the ladder than who should just win it, because I think all of us, for the most part, are in agreement on who should win it. But question before that, how many MVP ladders at the top 4 have been this stacked in recent NBA history? I think the last one I can draw to is, I want to say 2024. That was the season Luka finished third.
I feel like 2018.
Who was third in 18?
Wasn't it Braun?
He
No,
was
no,
second.
he was-
It was
he was second.
And then
Harden, Braun.
80?
It was
It might have been 80.
80.
He
and
was
then,
really good.
and then, you,
I think 6 years
and then you had KD and Steph eating away at each other.
Yeah, they were 4.
Yeah, oh, that's a stacked
I'm
five.
talking about
That's a
in
stacked
terms of,
five.
like statistical output.
Oh.
Probably 2011.
Because I'm trying to, like,
2011. You're
what
right.
season
It
did
was
Luka
80.
finish?
Funny enough, it was Damian Lillard who was fourth. That year.
Dame's
Oh,
fourth.
Yeah, Steph and KD weren't even. Steph was tied for 10 with Jimmy. KD did not make. Oh no, I lied. KD was 7. KD was 7. I lied.
Yeah.
Curry missed a bunch of games as well.
That's why.
But I reckon to say this is one of the more stacked,
I would agree.
if not the most stacked, top 4.
I mean, we said that going into the season, and we had the offseason argument where
This is
like,
gonna be a crazy
when
MVP
is
race.
the not even just that the top 5 players in the league is like it might be the best top 5 ever, right? And like Giannis is kind of fading behind because he's been hurt and doesn't have really much to play for in Milwaukee right now. But like when he was healthy and playing,
Giannis
he was
is really
also
good.
really freaking good at basketball.
Yeah, that's true. And then like, don't let Embiid stay healthy.
Sneakily, man.
Yeah, Embiid's come back and look kind of like Embiid again. But I mean,
I was gonna say, man,
knock on wood. But yeah, don't let Embiid be healthy because that's a crazy list. But to your point, I don't know. I think the top 3 is super uber like demigod talented, like with Wemby, Luka, Jokic, SGA. So like top 4, right? Outside of that 5th spot is kind of like there's a lot of. I mean, this year. Oh no, I'm talking about for MVP candidates.
Oh no, I'm just talking about the top 4.
I said I have
Yeah.
the Vegas odds pulled up in front of me.
Yeah, who the Vegas odds?
So SGA is the overwhelming favorite at negative 700. Wemby is now number 2 at a plus 800. Like I said, Luka caught Wemby. Luka caught Jokic. He is now a plus 1200. I'm sorry. For third, Jokic is a plus 4500 for fourth. And
Wow.
then I'll try to guess who's number 5.
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus 1500.
Yeah.
I say funny enough, number 6 is actually pretty interesting. I don't think I would guess him.
Is it not Cade because he got hurt?
No, it's not Cade. Cade's not even on this list.
Yeah, I think Cade's off it basically because he's gonna be ineligible.
It's not Cade.
Kawhi?
Kawhi is number 7.
Donovan
7?
Mitchell?
Yes.
Donovan Mitchell at 6. That makes sense. That's not that crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not shocked by that. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
That is the.
I don't know.
So nasty.
So I mean, that kind of what is it? Ties us into the next
Piggyback
topic.
into the next point, 'cause you brought a name up, and I think it's a name that everybody very recently would have had in these conversations
for
simply
sure.
because of historical precedent. His team was the 1 seed. He was putting up excellent numbers. He had a narrative behind him
Absolutely.
Mhm.
in all fairness to the rest of the Detroit Pistons, but the main reason as to why they were the 1
Their
seed
best player.
in the Eastern Conference, Cade Cunningham. Recent news has come out that the NBPA has filed to get an exception for Cade Cunningham to be eligible for the 65-game rule. And it is bringing a lot of people back to the forefront of, well, the 65-game rule kind of sucks. We've had like very brief conversations about it on the podcast. I'll give my 2 cents. I think that you should have never put an actual number on it because I think it was always implied.
Yes.
I think it was genuinely always implied of who the most valuable players in the NBA were, who the best players in the NBA were, and how you voted. I'm not going to sit here and act like the voting process is flawless. Like Domantas Sabonis was getting a first place DPOY vote for like 3 years because
Yeah.
one writer that loved him. I think that there could be a massive overhaul to who gets to vote. And just overall how the voting process is for a lot of all NBA and MVP stuff. But man, like putting a 65 game on it, it's like, all right, cool. What if a guy plays 64? Well, it's 65, but you're allowed to miss 1 game. What if it's 63? We're really allowed to miss 2 games, and you're just gonna keep lowering and lower. Or you play 59 games, yeah, but you're just gonna keep lowering and lower until somebody's favorite player is gonna miss it. And now it's, well, my favorite player missed it because this rule is dumb. And on the flip side of it, it's probably a guy that's going to make an All-NBA team because I did play 75 games. I played 75 games and played at a solid level. So I think that there's a balance to it. I think putting a number on it and opening up Pandora's box to getting an exception, like I hope Cade does get the exception for what it's worth. Like he deserves to be an All-NBA player this year. But I think it just is kind of, the rule's dumb. It is just it's a dumb rule. I would love if they did like percentage of available games. I think that'd be a great way to do it. If you were going to put some kind of like actual rule on it. Like if you're legitimately hurt, you're just hurt. Like I can't rush guys back because that's what's happening now is you're getting guys rushing back, coming back before they should because they know like I got to get this 65 so I can make all NBA so that 25% max can go to 35%. Like that's a lot of money on the table for these dudes. And if you're telling them it's between 1 game in Charlotte on a Wednesday between $60 million in the back half of their contract, I can tell you who's going to play. That guy that wants to make $60 million. So I don't know. I think there's some give and take with it. I'm interested to hear y'all talk.
I think so because I know you actually are in favor of the rule. So are you in favor?
I kind of thread the middle here. So you go anti-rule first.
Yeah, so I'm with Dre. I'm anti-rule. I think that it. I think the best point you made was the first point you made, which is it was always kind of an implied health factor when the voters decided who got an MVP or who made this defensive team or who made All NBA. Like that, it was already kind of implied that if you were healthy or that if you were not healthy, that would impact your ability to win these awards or place as highly on these standings as you would. So I don't think there needed to be a number like a direct number that put onto it to qualify you. I think it was kind of always implied. My other issue with it is a huge reason for the rule being implemented was because of load managing. It wasn't really because of injuries. It was because they were tired of guys taking nights off, not because they were hurt, but because they wanted to rest for the playoffs or rest for a back-to-back or whatever. And I agree, right? I'm not a huge fan of load managing either. But the problem with that is you end up hurting guys like Cade Cunningham, who isn't load managing. He's just hurt. Like he can't.
He punctured his lung.
Yeah, like he literally cannot go out there. Like if Cade Cunningham, he strikes me as the kind of guy who would want to play all 82 games if he humanly could. And he literally cannot do it right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of unfair for us to be like, well, Cade, I know you played like an MVP candidate, right? You're the biggest reason why Detroit is the first seed in the West. I'm sorry, in the East right now, one of the best teams in basketball, a real contender. You turn this team around. You get the narrative around you. You play like somebody who should not only should be in the MVP race, but you should also make all NBA first team. But you didn't play. You play. Was he at 60 right now?
Yeah.
I think
something like that, yeah.
I think he's at 60. So you played 60, but you didn't play them extra 5 games, so you can't do it. You go from not even making
it's not really the extra 5 because you get the 2 games grace. So it's like, what's the point of it?
Yeah. It's just I don't know, man. I think it's kind of unfair to Cade Cunningham, and I think it's just stupid because I think if the rule wasn't there, I think everybody on this panel, everybody at home would just say yes, he should be in the conversation. I mean, he wouldn't finish top 3 obviously for MVP, but he should be on that Vegas betting odd list. He should absolutely make All NBA first team. Like this is a guy who should have these accolades to his name, but because he ruptured his lung and now he can't play, he's not going to. So I think it's kind of dumb. I think it was fine the way it was, and I think they should go ahead and get rid of it.
Okay. So
I want to say because I'm
so I,
pretty heavily in favor of the rules. So
yeah, so I'm kind of in the middle here. I think the rules should not exist for all NBA teams. I think that while it's imperfect, voters have done historically a pretty good job of measuring games played versus actual performance on the court. I think recent examples was like Kevin Durant making like second team All NBA, even though he's only playing like 50 something games. So that's why he's not getting first team. But like, bro, it's still Kevin Durant, right? Like he's like should be an All NBA player, right? So I think that has kind of already been built in. If you want to, like Dre said, percentage of available games, if you want to like flesh that out into writing a little bit more, I think I'd be willing to accept that. But I think, for example, Cade missing out on like a first team All NBA really sucks, right? Like missing out on not just missing out on first team All NBA, going from not first team All NBA to no All NBA team is pretty nasty. That factors into players' contracts. That factors into a whole lot of other things. Like there's a good like if Wemby, like knock on wood here, if Wemby gets banged up, like he can only miss 2 more games, right? We have 9. We have like
the flip side of the Cade stuff is very interesting to me. If Cade doesn't make it and Jalen Duren does make it, now the Pistons are going from paying one guy at 35% max to 2 guys.
yeah.
Like now Jalen Duren will be eligible for a super max because I mean the way it's looking right now at the games, there's a chance he actually does make third team All NBA.
Yeah.
And he's missing third team. He's making third team All NBA because his actual first team All NBA point guard can't make it.
Yeah, and I just find that's very like I think the All NBA teams are just going to be a complete mess this year because of this rule. Now, on the flip side, I don't care about the rule for MVP awards. Do you know why? Because the rule has always existed.
But
It just wasn't
that's my
written
point,
down.
though. My point is that you don't need to put a
No,
rule
my point
on
is
it 'cause it was already a
I
factor.
think this crying about Cade, like, okay, he's not going to have a 5th place MVP finish to his name. Okay, he's not going to win.
I mean,
he wasn't going to win MVP anyways.
But let's say that and this is probably a bad year to make this argument because all the other MVP candidates are having like all-time great historic seasons. But let's say it's a season where it's neck and neck between 1 and 2, and number 1 probably was going to win it, but he played 62 games, and number 2 played 70. Now number 1 can't get the award, but everybody's like, well, didn't matter. He would have won it. I don't think there should be a qualifier at all. I think health inherently is always a factor in these awards. So why even put a number on it?
I just think there's no historical, like for what you're describing through 70 years of basketball, there's no comp for that. Like Bill Walton won the MVP award at 59 games. And then there were a couple MVPs during like lockout Jordan seasons, which obviously like doesn't really count for this, right? But for what you're describing, there's no historical comp for that. That's never happened.
I mean, but I guess my point is that you don't I don't know. We don't need it. Like, what do you need though? If they are already going to factor,
no, but that's
health,
my point. My point is we don't need it. My point is it doesn't matter. Like even if it wasn't there, if it wasn't there, like take the rule away. Like it affects all NBA teams a lot.
I think
it wouldn't like.
I think the problem
cares?
the problem with that thought process is up until a couple of weeks ago, we were all living in a doomsday scenario where there was a possibility Shea, Wemby, and Jokic might all not be available for MVP. It's why we were having a conversation about like Jaylen Brown and Cade, and no disrespect to them because they've had all NBA caliber seasons, but they were getting legitimate MVP hype. Less, and I don't want to rag their seasons, but less in part to how good they were, and us accepting the reality of there's just a chance Shea only plays 60, Jokic only plays 60, Wemby only plays 60. And now those 3 guys who are clearly by far and away having 3 of the 5 best seasons in the NBA because they missed 5 of the eligible games now. It's, now the 2 seed in Boston who's winning 48 games and player has a -6 on-off rating, that guy has to win MVP. He has to win MVP because nobody else literally can. Like, no, that's not what it should be. If you're and I think for most valuable player, I think this rings true. I get games played, I get minutes played. I think the argument Zay made for Wemby not winning it because he just simply isn't playing enough minutes is genuinely important. I do feel that way about it. I think the flip side of that is there are some guys, and I think this is true for, I'll use SGA versus Jaylen Brown. 62 games at SGA is 20 more games valuable than 82 games of Jaylen Brown. A 62-game SGA season is a more MVP season than 82 games of Jaylen Brown. I don't care.
Yeah, I agree.
It just is. And if you mean to tell me that 62-game season, which by far and away was the best season in the NBA that year, can't win it because he missed one arbitrary game. He missed one game in game 82. Like, what do you want to do? Go out in game 82 and step his phone in the court and then That didn't help the load management thing out at all. Like, he missed one game, and now he goes from 32 a night, all this hoopla that we were given from the stats earlier, to MVP, Jaylen Brown. It was a real possibility like 3 weeks ago, gang.
So make your case now.
First of all, I'll start off with the All-NBAs. I think it has been implied for first team All-NBA, historically speaking, the last 10 years. Which
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Wrap up. The only All-NBA first team guy that has gotten All-NBA first team while not beating the percentage of games played, which is 79% of the All-NBA rule, was Kawhi in 2021. However, on these second team and third team ballots, there are guys playing 40 games, 50 games, and I'm gonna be real, I don't think that should be the case. I don't think you should be scamming second team All-NBAs playing 42 games like LeBron did in 2021, because there's somebody out there who played 75 games as an All-Star and had very good statistical output that just straight up got left off an All-NBA ballot because popularity. Because that's what it comes down to. When these guys are playing 40, 50 games, it becomes name recognition. You're not an All-NBA second team player playing 42 games. You're not. That's not like, bro, there's nothing that makes that right. And even beyond, because the MVP stuff, nobody has played less than 65 games or the percentage of it, because Giannis played 63 in 2020. He would have played more than 65.
Lockout. Yeah, I mean, not lockout,
right.
COVID.
So
yeah.
Everyone's played the percentage of games to win MVP. I'm going to be real. If you play 60 games, you should not win MVP.
I disagree with that.
You should not win MVP missing a fourth of the season.
If you are an MVP candidate and you
I'm good on that.
So
I'm good on that.
So he averages 50, 10, and 10 for the season. But
in 60 games.
First of all, that's a stupid. Like, gang, nobody's averaging 50.
That's my point, though. If somebody
we can get
best statistical season in the history of the sport, and they play 60 games, cool, give me MVP.
So hold on. We were just talking about this with Jokic earlier. There was a point in this season where he was averaging a 30-point triple-double. He was averaging a 30-point triple-double. They were the 2 seed in the West at the time, and it was looking like he was going to be ineligible for MVP. And we got to look at Jokic and say, boo-hoo, you only played 61 games. And you averaged 30, 10, and 10.
He was not win MVP. There have been guys who've had great seasons statistically and not won MVP.
No, forget just not him win him. Okay. Forget him not winning MVP. You mean to tell me we would have had to go through a year, because this does affect MVP voting, because maybe somebody did feel like Wemby deserved MVP, you felt like Shea deserved it, and the guy who's averaging 30, 10, and 10, guess what? I can't even vote for him anymore. So I felt like I was going to actually vote for Jokic. Now my vote goes somewhere else. Because somebody who's a worthy candidate at 30, 10, and 10 a night, which is damn near what he was averaging at the time, I can't vote for that guy because he missed 2 games.
Not only that, like, if Jokic did go on to finish the season.
There's really no other league where this applies to. You cannot miss a fourth of the NFL. No, because I need to get this off. There's not a single other American sports league where you can miss a fourth of the season and win awards. Not a single one. If you miss 4 games in the NFL, you're not winning MVP.
It's a shorter season.
You're not doing it.
It's a 16 game versus 82 games.
It's
16
versus 82. At the end of the day, it's a fourth of the season.
That's bullshit comparing a football.
How's it bullshit? It's the fourth of the year.
Because it's literally less games played. Because even
so
because I'm resting guys
does that matter?
Because I'm resting guys throughout the 82 game season regardless. My best players are going to miss games.
Okay,
so but it's just the truth. They're going to miss games.
Comparing a guy missing a fourth of an NBA season, because mind you, it's less games, right? Which means there's more wiggle room for these niggas to miss games.
Yeah.
Also,
so
right?
If
I miss 5 games in an NBA season, that doesn't even equivalent to, it equates to 1 NFL game, right? That is 1 NFL game. If I miss 5 games, it's 1 NFL game, right? So, with that same logic, following that same line of logic, if a nigga misses a fourth of an NFL season, right, which for them is a month in a 4-month long season. If I miss a fourth of an NBA season, which is a 6-month season, that is a month and a half worth of these sports, you're not getting a fucking award. There's not a single NFL MVP that played 13 fucking games. That doesn't happen. You don't get first team All-Pro playing 12 games.
I mean,
it's less games total.
A 17-game season versus 82
percentage of games played. It doesn't matter.
No, okay.
It is percentage of games played.
It
does not
I'm
matter.
not getting into this argument because I think
mathematics, my nigga.
No, I'm not arguing the mathematics. I'm not arguing that. I can give less than a fuck about the mathematics right now. We're arguing about how different the two sports are.
If 75% of $8 is the same 75% of $100, you have
that's a logical fallacy.
That makes no sense.
That's not what we're arguing right now.
No, yes, it does. There's more games in an NBA season.
I don't care about the statistics right now. I think arguing a 17
I mean,
game.
that's fine. My point was standing.
I didn't get to give my point.
If a nigga plays a fucking misses a fourth of a season in literally any other professional sport, they're not winning most valuable players.
I mean,
Like, that wouldn't
you
even be
can't use the NFL though, because
No, because, like,
Okay,
Okay,
no,
yeah, but
this is my argument.
Fourth of an MLB season, or MVP.
No, this is my argument. And I think in MLB, this would happen. Because it hadn't happened, I don't think, a fourth of the games, because MLB's a 162-game season. Guys have just missed more games. But
Yeah.
for them, it's usually like the 110-game line, right? Because it's a massive season. It's a 162-game season for them. It is different than a 17-game season. Because if you miss in the NFL, and I think it's way less or way worse to me to miss one game in the NFL than it is to miss 10 games in basketball.
Yeah.
I missed 2 weeks of an NFL season. Man, if that's 2 division games, my season might be over.
I mean,
I'm
off the
surreal.
top of my head,
Like, it might be over if I miss like 2 games in my division.
yeah, off the top of my head, like I remember Tom Brady's last. It's not an NFL podcast,
Totally.
but I remember Tom Brady's last MVP. Carson Wentz was the front runner basically the entire year. Then week 14
Yeah, but so I think he
goes
only
down with
missed
the
2
ACL.
games.
Yeah, he
He
only
played
missed 2 games
14,
that year,
16 games.
and it ended up going to Tom Brady because he played the full season. Like I remember that, right? And it was sad, but like no one really complained about
Yeah,
it.
nobody, because like you missed the last 2 weeks.
But to be fair, I think that is also that goes into we talk about MVPs or narrative-based awards. I think both these sports are viewed differently. The NFL is viewed as a sport of attrition. You get credit for playing more years in the NFL. You get credit for playing through multiple games, playing through a 16-game season over and over and over. That is considered more of a virtue than it is in the NBA because the NFL is a more physical league, right? I think the NBA, the reason people are complaining, the reason this game exists in the first place is load managing. People don't complain about NFL players like resting games. They're hurt. Right? Like, they'll
they
die.
can't afford to rest a game. Like,
Yeah.
you lose week 1 in the NFL,
Yeah.
and there are like legitimate alarm bells going off in your front office. Like, we can't lose next week, or else I'm getting fired.
Yeah,
Like, that's how the NFL
so
works.
I think it's
totally different.
I think it's more to do
If my
with
star player misses 25% of the season, that fucks me in the standings.
No, but
Example,
I
that's the
think
Nuggets.
I think basketball. They're still the 4 seed. Like, again, like
They went from being the 2 seed to the 4 seed.
yeah, but
Comfortably
But
the 2 seed to the 4
again,
seed.
I don't want to argue this because we're getting into the difference between the NBA and the NFL right now. I could give less of a crap about that. The massive thing that I'm trying to get to, and the point of what an MVP is in basketball. And this is just the flat out truth to me. And I said it earlier with the SGA versus Jaylen Brown point. There is in no world where you could tell me that Tyrese Maxey, which I don't even think he'll play 75 games. I know he's missed a couple. But let's say
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey played all 82 games this season.
Yeah.
That Tyrese Maxey's 82-game season for the 76ers, you cannot tell me that's a better season than if Jokic only played 62. No. Nikola Jokic's 62 games were better than Tyrese Maxey's 82. That's the way you should view it. I could care less about anything else. I think at a certain point, you do if Jokic only played 41, no, Maxey's 82 was worth more than his 41. If Jokic only played 50, his 82 is probably worth more than Jokic 50. Shoot, is it worth more than a 58-game Jokic sample size? I don't know. I probably win more games in Jokic's 58 than I do in Tyrese Maxey's 82. I think that's what matters more. Like, who had the better season? Obviously, if you have a longer season, you had a better, or if you had a longer season with that same level of production, you had a better season than if you had it in a shorter span. Obviously. But if it does come down to, and no disrespect to Wemby because he's had a great season, but if he would have been like the only guy left at 70 games and his season was 25, 10, and 3 blocks, that's not like otherworldly MVP. And I got to look at Shea and Jokic and say, well, you only played 61 games, so you're 32, 6, and 6, and your 30, 10, and 10 weren't good enough when you were the 1 seed and you were the 4 seed. Because you missed 4 games.
If no other MVP has missed as many games as those niggas have in the modern era, why the fuck would I give them MVP?
Because they deserve
We're
it.
ignoring historical precedent.
Because they deserve it.
Yeah.
But beyond,
They-
fuck,
I don't
fuck the
think-
rule. Fuck the rule. Beyond the rule. Beyond
Yeah.
the rule. Nobody has ever won MVP in the modern era playing less than 79% of the available games.
Yeah, it just doesn't
Nobody
happen.
has done it.
You go
I'm
through-
not giving you an MVP if you miss a fourth of the season.
That's kind of my thing.
That goes against everybody else because that's a part of the voting process. A part of the voting process is your availability.
Yeah.
When Jokic and fucking Embiid were having a back and forth for MVP, the reason why there was a huge ass question mark on who was going to win it and why it ended up being so contested is games missed. It is games missed. At the end of the day, when we got to March, when we got to early April, niggas was talking about, oh, well, Jokic just missed a couple games because of his elbow. I don't know. It might be Embiid now. Oh, and B missed his game in Denver because of his knee. Oh, I don't know. It might be Jokic
Yeah, because
now.
those are two similar production cases. I think in that case, no, if it's head up, if it's 1-to-1 head up, by all means, you go with the person that I think played more. And I think historically speaking, NBA voters have done a good enough job at picking who's actually played more games head up. The problem is, and again, I think this year is the perfect example because this was a reality like 3 weeks ago. SGA came back early. He came back ahead of his prognosis when he got hurt. Jokic came back early. Luka came back early.
I mean, but
Wemby came back
to
early.
be fair, is that not the point of the rule?
That's the point. The point of MVP and all this is that we want these guys to play as many games as possible. What I don't want to happen is, I think we've seen it happen with guys before. If SGA would have came back one game too fucking early and he gets hurt, now I got to miss out on 4 years of SGA basketball because you dumb motherfuckers wanted to put 65 games on the title. Because if he would have played 62 versus 65, it would have meant nothing. That's my thing. A weak sample size cannot be the end-all be-all. I agree with you. If SG only played, real quick. If SG only played 50 games, I get it.
Agree.
If he only played 55, the Bill Walton 59 game MVP, I love Bill Walton. That's kind of like, he played 59 games this year. That's kind of wild, Bill. I get that. If I'm at 61, 62, literally right at the cutoff you made, and because I sprained my toe 1 week too early, I can't win MVP over somebody that clearly doesn't deserve it because they did play more. I would get it if Jaylen Brown was averaging 35, 7, and 7 playing 82 games, by all means. But if somebody's just having a regular All-NBA season, and because they made the cutoff by 1 game over me, like at what point is it not like, all right, cut it off? Like at what point?
If all the MVP niggas miss games, then all the MVP niggas should not win. Like there's never been a situation in the history of the league that is what you were describing that has happened.
We damn near had it this year.
To your point, right? Because you're talking about, oh well, if what's the difference between 61 and 63? At that point, what is in there? What's the difference between 58 and 61?
No, but again,
no.
I think there is a massive difference there. I think at that point you get to a massive difference. If I start getting to, and I think historically speaking, it was already implied. I agree with your point on like the LeBron All-NBAs. Some voters don't need to have a vote. Some voters do just look and say, Braun all defense. I love Kobe Bryant. Kobe all defense for 10 years because that's the only name they know. I 100% agree with you there on the All-NBA
Drew
point.
Holiday.
For MVP specifically, and I genuinely feel this way because I think it's most valuable. I don't think I can intrinsically say or just say outright that your value is dictated solely to an 82 game threshold player by player. Because again, I think, let me just ask you this question.
I'm not
if I could make a trade for you, and if I told you this, for the next 2 seasons, you get 82 games of Jaylen Brown each season, or 60 games in Nikola Jokic each season.
Yeah, you take Jokic.
You don't take the 60 of Jokic, and I think that just proves why he's more valuable. He's better, and I can't.
Jokic
if I'm looking
going against, historically speaking, he's going against the other niggas who have won MVP to win MVP. That is the precedent that has been set. I'm not letting you ignore precedent. I'm not. Nobody else has done this shit. I'm not doing it. Part of the reason why these niggas are winning MVP is because they're putting up historically great numbers and also playing a lot of games. That is the precedent. If you're not playing the games, I don't care about your numbers.
I think the truth is kind of in the middle here, where it's like, yes, the rule is stupid in the hypothetical that you bring up of if there is an all-time great player having an all-time great season who just misses off on the cutoff and they're head and shoulders the best player in the league, this would be pretty freaking stupid that he doesn't get the award, right? I also agree that we do have a 70-year sample size now since the NBA merger, where outside of the lockout season, Bill Walton, and the COVID shortened season, it also hasn't happened. Like, and I think so. I get what Zay is saying is like, whether the rule is there or not, the MVP is kind of going where it should be for majority of the time, right? Like in terms of like games played. Yeah, like voter process.
That's my point. I don't think they need to put a label on it.
So then we're saying, you're saying the rule doesn't matter whether it's there or not. So then I think we're all kind of in agreement here.
I think it should just go away.
Yeah, it can, sir, but we agree. It doesn't make a difference.
Niggas shouldn't be getting all NBAs playing 40 games.
I think all NBA is the more interesting argument.
All of us agree with you there.
Niggas should be winning DPOY playing 55 games. That's also fucking ridiculous, bro.
I disagree with that.
Nigga, you're missing a third of the year.
Wemby should have won DPOY last year.
Wemby should have won
DPOY last year.
Gang, he had more
playing 46 games.
He led the league in
He
blocks.
had more blocks than teams did. Yeah, he was the best player ever playing.
You cannot win a fucking major award playing half the season. That is ridiculous.
He was the best defender.
He was the best defender.
I don't care. He didn't. It's a season-long award. It's about
Yeah,
the entire
Yeah,
season.
and over the season,
Okay,
he's half the
in
year
the
was the best defender of the
46 in
game.
the 46 games he played, he was the best defender in the world.
Yeah.
Those
And
36
he wasn't even
games
close.
count
Bro,
against
And
him.
he wasn't even close.
Fucking
So
missed
again,
games.
so Zay, and
That
this
is
no,
ridiculous.
and this seems to be the criteria that we have built, and I firmly feel this way about it. Them
I don't
36,
agree, bro.
No, I didn't even get to say what the hell I was going to say.
Go
I know where you're going. I don't agree, bro.
Go
All
ahead.
right, cool. Those 36 games without Wemby, this is to me what has to happen. If a guy like Wemby is shown through 46 games, he is by far,
Not even close.
and I mean by fuck different planets, different universes across from everybody else as a defender. You got the 36 games he missed, Chet Holmgren, Evan Mobley, and everybody else to figure the fuck out how to close that gap. If you don't in that 36 games, I don't care. I don't care that you played more. You were worse than him.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Niggas
I think for MVP, it's a bit different.
I'll give you an
MVP
example.
high,
It-
he was better than him.
In 2023, do you remember when LeBron was about to win the scoring title?
In
And
2022, yes.
2022, and he missed the cutoff by one game. What were your thoughts on that?
He played 55 games,
He played 55.
so I don't think he should have got it. No.
Yeah, because he
Scoring
missed the
title? 'Cause
scoring title.
That's points per game. I agree with Zay there. I think that should be something like sustained.
This
I
nigga
think.
missed the
Okay.
third of the season. I don't think he should.
Okay.
I don't think he
I
should
think
get
counting
any
stats are a bit
title.
different.
Missing a third of the
It's
game.
narrative stuff for me where it's like if you
Okay.
put a game on.
Because I wanted to make that establishment. Yeah.
Bro, you cannot win an award missing 40 games. That is fundamentally ridiculous.
I think
If
in
you
most
were-
There's no other league where you can get this at all.
in
you were
most
in
cases,
leaps
I
and
would agree
bounds.
with
It's
you.
missing half a season.
If you were in leaps and bounds the best defensive
No,
player,
that's
I
bullshit.
don't care.
Yeah,
That's bullshit,
I don't
bro.
care.
Because there have been NFL seasons where niggas have missed half. Like prime example.
No, but again, I think the NFL
this is
is
almost an
trash
exactly
tonight.
1-to-1 comparison to the Wemby shit. Derrick Henry, and I think it was 2022, played 10 games. And those 10 games, he led the league in rushing yards. He led the league in rushing yards all the way until the second
Oh, I know.
to
Yes,
last
I know.
week
I know.
in
Yeah,
the
Yes,
season.
I know the season.
You know what people were saying, and I know you were around then. People were saying,
and I think
"Why?"
that's bullshit.
No, but you know, people were saying legitimate. And I don't think it is BS, dude. If I and I genuinely feel this way, if I go 10, and we'll use the Derrick Henry example. If I'm through 10 weeks and at the end of the season you just caught me, why wasn't I better than you this year?
You can't miss
You
half
were.
a season, dude. Like,
No,
that's
no, but-
ridiculous.
Again, like, why wasn't I better than you though?
You can't miss half a season.
Like, why wasn't I better than you? But it took in my half a season.
Availability is an ability.
But if in my half a season, in your full season, you got to my half a season. What does that mean, gang?
I mean, that's
that means I was better than you in half a
and-
season.
and-
So then I want to push back on these All NBA teams. You talk about guys like LeBron sneaking in. My issue is less with guys like LeBron sneaking in. My issue is more with like all due respect to the guy. Julius Randle has like multiple All NBA teams.
I mean, he deserves them.
But
to be
like,
fair.
yeah, I mean maybe that's just a name I'm throwing out. But like, especially okay.
Yeah, that was great hate. That was great hate. He didn't even
Oh,
throw serious. That was great hate.
Julius Randle deserves all NBA. We're fucking LeBron in
It's
2021.
gonna be somebody who makes the
I'm just
team
saying,
this year who's not supposed
bro,
to.
like there's guys right now on supermax contracts that have supermax contracts because they made all NBA teams that you could argue that in seasons that maybe if it wasn't for certain thresholds and certain bars, they shouldn't have made. Like there's guys that got overpaid because of that. And I don't think giving it to someone who like sure, LeBron only played 45. That might be egregious. The KD 50 game season again on the Nets. But bro, it was KD. Everyone knew that guy
Yeah,
was
like,
a top 10 player in the
A
league.
third of this, like, bro, that is a
Were
lot
there
of the
9 players
season,
better
bro.
than KD?
Were there
that
9?
season?
Yeah, they weren't.
No, but the nigga played 50.
No, okay.
games.
So then, and I think this is just, I think you just have a totally different criteria than us, which is
I'll
fine.
say
But
it's-
like,
it's like a
I
disagree
think
kind of
the
moment.
question I have is if I look at, and I would do this as a voter, this is how I would vote. If I had KD's 50 game sample size, I would ask myself, how many seasons are better than this KD 50 game season? And you go from there. And if the end of my, if at the end of the conclusion, I come and say like 7. I can't then say, well, the 11th one on my game played 8 more games. He wasn't better than 8 games.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him all NBA over a guy who's also having a very good statistical season and has played almost all the games.
How big of a gap does it have to be for you?
Yeah.
What do you mean? How big of a
Like if in KD's 50, what was KD averaging in that 50 game season? Like 29 and
was like-
and
yeah, it was something nuts,
ridiculous.
bro.
It was nuts.
Yeah. Like
What year was that? That was
22? I don't remember.
21, 22?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know that nigga played like 29 games one of the years.
Yes, the 21, 22.
Yeah, 21.
He was
22.
averaging 30, 7.5, 6.5, a block and a steal.
Yeah, that's
Like-
like that. No. And this is where I think the voters got it correct. In an 82 game season, that is a first team All NBA. He did not get first team All NBA because he only played 50 games. So the appropriate knock for a
Yes.
freaking 36-5 season on 50, 40, 90 splits is second team All NBA.
I don't.
My thing is the knock should not be no All NBA teams. I think that is insane.
So no,
a guy averaged
so-
36 and 5
So
on
my
50,
question
40,
for you
90
is that, so
splits.
based on this, like Kevin Durant year, because he averaged 37.5, 6.5. Like he averaged goddamn 38 and 7. Jesus
Yes.
Christ. Like averaging 38 and 7 on a season. Like Bam averaged 19 and 10. Jimmy averaged 21, 6 and 6. Rudy averaged 15 and 15. Rudy probably should have made an All-NBA team this year. Like Desmond Bain averaged 18. Jaylen Brown averaged 23. I can't look at any of these other seasons and say
That was better.
their 75 games was better than KD's 50. They just weren't.
Yeah. Like I think the appropriate knock is that guy doesn't make first team All NBA. Maybe he doesn't even make second team All NBA.
He should
But
be
like
all-NBA.
my thing is
There's
he
not 18 guys who have better
deserves
seasons.
it deserves to be that is an All NBA
I mean,
caliber
that's-
season.
if you want to give him 13, I am okay with that. What I am not okay with is niggas snaking second team All NBA is playing 50 games. That is ridiculous. Or 40 games. That's
Okay.
ridiculous.
So then
I think-
you could do like a
I think
progressive
snaking
scale.
awards period when you've missed that much of the season.
Gang, so you wouldn't have
It's not
gave
a- it's not a
Kyrie all the
snake.
like Kyrie's best ever year. He only played 55 games,
Yeah.
27, 5 and 5. You wouldn't have given it all NBA.
13.
You would have been 13 for
in
you.
my eyes, that would have been using the same criteria y'all use.
So-
I would have used that is a 13 All NBA player.
There were
Okay, so Adam Silver.
I think he was 13
Here,
all NBA
here.
playing that day.
Yeah,
I think he was
so-
second or 13.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the voters historically get that part right.
I don't agree because niggas like LeBron are getting second teams playing.
I think I'm gonna be real. I think that was a
I don't-
LeBron.
That's
I
a
think
LeBron, like-
it's been other
So
niggas
real.
who've done that shit.
Yeah.
It's niggas getting out
Yeah.
here playing 50 games.
No, but okay. So to
Like
that
what?
point. So I think
Oh.
radical idea. First team All NBA threshold 65. Second team 55. Third team 45. Everyone okay with that?
No, because again, I think it goes back to the point of like,
Bro,
Now-
if you play less than 45 games,
no, not the 45, not the 45, not the 45. I don't care about the 45 part. I like. You shouldn't make an all-NBA team.
Yeah.
I'm the 65 part. Like Jokic got to only be second team because he played 62
I'm gonna be
games.
real.
Yo, like come on, man.
Bro, it's been one nigga who hasn't done it. And it's dead Kawhi. I'm be real. He shouldn't have made it in 2021.
What he played like 50 games, right?
He played 51 out of 72.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
real. But calling a spade, bro.
Kawhi was-
I don't know who was better in them
I'm gonna be
51
real.
games than Kawhi Leonard.
I'll cut Kawhi Bell because it was a lot of injuries that year. So amongst the star players, he was actually one of the healthier ones.
Yeah.
But in general, I do not think that you should make an All NBA first team.
Okay,
Not
can I,
playing
can I
80%.
ask you a
I think that's
serious question?
ridiculous.
Do you think who's the name? He's for sure gonna make it this year. Do you think Jalen Johnson like deserves an All NBA this year, or do you think he'll probably just end up on one because of games?
gonna
He'll end up on
I think
one.
He's been a third team.
He's been third team caliber. He's averaging 23, 10, and 8.
Like,
Like,
everyone was healthy.
We're gonna have to do our like we're gonna do our All NBA list one of these episodes, but I don't know if I would put him on an All
I'm
NBA.
so-
team.
I'm
He'd be
honest.
eligible though.
So,
Like,
yeah,
he would-
I think he ends up making because he's 65.
I mean, I'm saying,
I don't know if
but
I
that's
put him
not
on.
true. I don't think it'll be ridiculous to say that Jalen Johnson.
he's averaging
All-NBA
23,
third.
10, and 8, and his team's the 6th seed. That's not ridiculous.
They're on a massive win streak in large
They
part.
are,
Yeah.
but like I don't know if. And it's no disrespect to Jalen Johnson, but this is just the way I view. I don't think he's been a top 15 player in basketball this year.
But
So-
I'm not saying he's had a season where if you told me
like
he made, I would not be like,
I'm not gonna
oh
be
my
like,
God,
oh my
yeah,
God, Jalen Johnson. But off the top of my head, like I don't think he would be one of the 15
I mean,
I pick
yeah,
on
that's
an
fine.
NBA ballot.
That's not
That's
the
fine.
criteria for All NBA though. Like niggas like Sabonis have All NBA games. Do you think Sabonis has ever been a top 15 player?
Yeah. Sabonis has had years where he was top 50 player in basketball, 100%. 100%.
So now I'm actually extremely confused on your logic thing because I'm gonna be real, gang.
I think he's for sure a season where he was top.
There have definitely been seasons where people complain about Sabonis making All NBA, and they've complained because he's getting it pretty much off of attrition.
No,
As opposed
I
to
think
other
no.
niggas.
I've
Yeah.
always been a defender of DeMontis Sabonis compared to other people. I think he's just really earned some of the value he's put out, or some of the value he's received back.
I think that goes back to season versus actual ability because I think you could say he had a top 5 season. I don't think there's ever been a season he's been a top 15 player. I think that's
Well, yeah,
demonstrative.
he would be like that was my point. I don't think Jalen
I don't
Johnson's been a top 15 player this season. I think Sabonis had years where he was a top 15 player. In
Yeah,
basketball.
and to my point, I think by completely removing the threshold and having voters compensate for which team you land on based on how good of a season you had, it gets you closer to these are the 15 best players
Yes.
in the NBA, not
The
15 best seasons considering game requirement, which I think no one really wants. Like,
I mean,
besides
I
the
think
thing,
15 best.
I don't want just the outright like, oh, these are the 15 best players, because one of the 15 best players might not have had one of the 15 best seasons. I think
Yeah.
it should just be the 15 best seasons in basketball. And if the dude who had the third best season only played 60 games, I don't care. He had the third best season in basketball. Tell the world he was the third best player in basketball this year. That's the problem I end up having with a lot of the All NBA teams, a lot of MVP voting.
You're
Like
in.
Donovan Mitchell made a first team All NBA. I have to go to explain
Yeah,
to my
that was
kids in
nasty.
history. The NBA decided Donovan Mitchell was the 5th best player in basketball.
That was
Because that's what
nasty.
all NBA
I mean,
teams
but
mean.
that wasn't according to games played though. They just
That was
that's
'cause
what I'm
of
saying.
seeding. That was
Like,
seeding.
But that's the problem. Like, they gave that man he didn't have the 5th best season in basketball.
He did not.
He didn't.
I mean,
Like, he just
it
did not at all.
wasn't
And they gave him the
team.
5th. Like, they told the world, Donovan Mitchell this season, and he had a great season. I know I rag on Donovan Mitchell a lot of here.
Yeah.
But, like, he wasn't the 5th best player in basketball this season. There were a lot of guys that
I'll
deserved
be
that
honest, he didn't
spot.
have that great of a season last year, respectfully.
Oh, for the first team?
Yeah.
Playing up, like, some of the years
He's
where I've
having
been
a way
like,
better season this year.
yeah, he's having
Yeah.
a way better, and he probably won't make
He's not
first
gonna
team.
make
Yeah, I know.
Which is
It's
hilarious.
Certain guys don't make it. Like
Yeah.
if Cade don't make it, he
Yeah.
probably does.
All right, you want to get to the game?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I think.
Everybody got out what they had to say about
I think yeah. I
about,
started.
about all NBA.
It's all good. I've been keeping track.
Okay.
Okay, but I figured.
So, are y'all ready?
Yeah,
All
we
right.
do it.
So today I have a list. This is according to Ranker, the most
Okay.
overrated players in the NBA. But it's at the start of the season, so not
Ooh.
it will take place today.
Overrated
Start of the
players.
season.
Start of the season.
And I'll give y'all a hint. Casuals would make this. So like, there's some names in here you probably would agree with. There's a couple of names. Like,
Casual.
there's a name on here. Isaiah's gonna throw a fit.
Casuals would
Okay,
agree with.
that's
So I'm assuming
overrated
that means
players.
these are all like big name players.
All right.
But,
So let's
mean, they're not all
do you want
stars.
to do like snake
but like
draft style?
names.
Huh?
I'm
I mean, they're all
assuming
names you would know though.
Do you want to just all throw out names one by one, or how do we want to do this?
We Start naming them.
Okay. Let's start close to home. Shingun.
No.
Wow.
Yeah,
I feel like you make it
casual.
now.
I'm about to say
Casually.
people ain't going rank.
Oh, like
I'm gonna go-
casual.
Because I think enough people just vote LeBron James.
No.
Okay, so they didn't go that way. Okay,
No.
Oh
Kyrie?
No.
no, well, okay.
people love
People
it.
love Kyrie. That's true.
Jason Tatum.
No.
Really,
Jalen Brown?
No.
really.
Same draft.
They're fried.
Actually, no, I lied. Not the, no, the same draft for the guy you said before.
Tatum.
No. Yeah, same draft as Tatum.
Lonzo?
Yes. Number 4.
Oh, okay. So okay. Lonzo,
You know what?
Yeah,
You know what? Fair.
okay.
People did think he was an
Jordan
yeah.
Poole.
Good guess. I'll say think of the fusion of Lonzo and Jordan Poole. That's,
D'Angelo Russell.
No. You-
That's a great guess.
I'll say,
Great guess.
think of that fusion though. You're close.
Lonzo and
no, not Tyler Hero.
Lonzo and
Then Jordan Poole.
What?
I'll say it's a wing.
Pazimti?
No.
You should have said
Yeah.
it's a fusion of Lonzo.
I'm trying to imagine.
It's in terms of this guy was teammates with Lonzo and he plays like Jordan Poole. That's the
Levine?
no. He's a wing.
he was teammates with Lonzo.
DeMar?
This is number 1 on the list.
DeMar?
No.
Teammates with Lonzo. Brandon Ingram.
No. This is a current player too. BS on the list.
Give me a team.
AD?
He's on the Bucks right now.
Oh, my God.
Kyle
Kuzma.
They say Kuzma's Ohio player. Is that-
He's number 1.
He's number 1?
Yes.
That's
People rate-
hilarious.
I
Who
guess,
rates
yeah,
Kuzma?
rates
But
Kuz
y'all thinking
anymore.
a little too.
Who rates Kuz?
Okay, so
okay, so these are real
If Kuz
stinkers.
was
Okay,
one,
okay.
Lonzo was 4.
There are stars on this list though. Don't get me wrong. There's
Okay, Sabonis.
no,
Giannis.
no to both.
Oh.
Number 3 has not played a single game this season. I want to say. Let me triple
Hallie?
check. No. If he played, he might have played like 5 games. If
Is
that.
Brunson on the list?
Marco Fultz.
This guy played 6 games this year, and no, neither name you just named.
No, Brunson.
Played 6 games, got shut down. New team. Whole city hates him
Oh,
right
Anthony
now.
Davis.
No,
Oh.
New team, whole city.
Trae Young?
hates him?
there's a whole city that hates this guy right now. No, it's not Trae Young.
Whole city, but
What the hell? This is so much harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, plays
Oh.
for the Clippers.
Plays for the Clippers. Bradley Beal.
Yes, number 3.
Oh.
Number 3.
It's like-
Number 5.
Okay.
A guy.
Is Cat on there?
No, but
Cats on
former
there?
teammate of Cats. Number
Oh,
4.
Randall?
No, close.
And
Gobert.
Gobert.
Yes, Rudy Gobert's number.
Okay,
5. There's
Gobert
also-
would be on
There's
here.
also
Yeah.
another former Cat teammate, number 10.
Andrew
Wiggins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew Wiggins is on this list.
Okay.
This is such a
It's a ridiculous
Yeah,
list.
I'm starting to get it because like Ranker's kind of like a mix of like unks for real. So like Andrew Wiggins draft class, like Lonzo draft class. I'm
Yeah,
starting
for
to,
like, who do you know who goes and like rank stuff on Ranker?
Number 6 is you probably would never think of this guy for overrated, but plays for the Pistons.
Cade?
No,
Duran.
no.
Tobias
star.
Harris.
Tobias
Tobias
Harris.
There's a lot of people who play for Elias.
I would say then there's a Tobias Harris teammate at number 7,
Former teammate?
former, and
Embiid?
Simmons?
yes, Embiid is number 7 on the
Embiid?
list.
Wow, you know I'm getting I know who uses Franker now. Oh
Yes.
man, this is nasty.
This a
So y'all
Facebook
have
ad.
8 and
bro.
9 left. They both have the exact same first name. One of them
8 and 9?
is young and trash. One of them is old and trash.
I'm assuming this means they're a Jalen.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Steph Castle, Steph Curry.
I said they're trash.
The
One of
trash.
them is young.
Oh, I think that one was good.
I mean,
Okay.
he's youngish and trash,
Oh.
and the other one was really good when he was in his prime. But he's
Both active?
Yeah.
Chris Paul?
Nope.
Wow.
Draymond?
First name. There's no.
Oh, y'all did not guess Draymond. He's number 2 on the list. Though.
Okay.
Oh, Draymond.
But no,
I was gonna say Draymond.
That's
no,
fair.
y'all did not guess Draymond. But no, 8 and 9 have the exact same government name. One of them just signed with a new team. I think both of them are on new teams technically.
Positions.
Bigs,
Same name.
same name. One of them.
Oh, DeAndre Jordan, DeAndre.
DeAndre
Jordan.
Ayton. Ah, okay.
Go on.
There we go. That is the list.
Who was hating on DeAndre Jordan?
Yeah, who's like, who's hating on? Do you know what? You know what the
who
problem
was
is?
rating
I'm starting to peep with like all of these. Like Kyle Kuzma was really big, like early on because of the Lakers stuff, Lonzo Lakers stuff. DeAndre Jordan, probably a bunch of old people mad at him about the Mavs Clippers stuff. Went to Ranker and said DeAndre Jordan sucks. Embiid haters.
Yeah,
Look, I'm
how
starting to
stupid
piece
is
this
this
together
list,
now.
bro? Like,
Ayton makes sense.
I think funny enough, number 11 was. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I have still pulled up, but it was not a name that you would think at all would be number 11 as well.
I'm actually like, what? Who in big
Draymond
Such a
too.
bizarre list.
upset about DeAndre Jordan, bro? Like,
Who's like, man, DeAndre
No,
Jordan
I'm-
overrated.
I don't know. Like Mavs fans still kind of hate DeAndre Jordan.
No, but who thought Kyle
Oh,
Kuzma was over? Like,
No.
who's number 11?
I know.
Why the heck, Batum, man? That's
Batum?
number 11.
That's funny. Now you got to remember, Kuz probably was overrated at one point.
Yeah,
because
he
of
was.
all,
He was at one point.
He
He
was
was.
compared to Tatum, so I'm assuming it's just some leftover. From
No,
that.
they did the whole it's a 30-second. They did the whole like Lakers thing where it's like,
Yes.
oh, we drafted a 23-year-old who looks better than every other rookie in his class. How did this guy fall to pick 20? And then like 8 months go by and it's like, oh yeah, Dalton Connect was there for a reason. Like Kyle Kuzma was there for a reason.
You know, it's funny. Kuz was just a good player. I don't know what happened to Kyle Kuzma. Like he was actually just a
Yeah.
really productive NBA player.
He was the best of that group at that. Well, nah, Bi was.
No,
better
he
than
was-
Nah, B.I. was better.
Yeah, Bi was
Man,
better. I
trash
lied.
But
was
he like Kuz shouldn't have
And I ain't gonna lie,
like
healthy Lonzo was also
Kuz shouldn't have
better,
for real
but
flamed out. He was a
he
a
fit
big,
better with that Lakers team than
He
the
was
other
like a
guys
big
did.
mobile shooter. He really shouldn't have flamed
Plus,
out.
he was also
He still-
making
yeah,
like
he got
$1
a
million.
job, so-
Yeah,
So
you got a
like,
job. I
it
can't
didn't
hate.
matter.
You making like 30
People still want Kyle Kuzma, so shout out to Kuz, man.
Yeah, shout out
Um,
Kuz.
Yeah.
All right.
But that has been the Right Read podcast this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for stopping by. As always, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. You can find the Right Read podcast. And as always, on YouTube every Tuesday and Friday. Be sure to hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all of us. As always, this has been the Right Read podcast. We'll catch y'all next time.